Hello and welcome back to the Castle Doctrine. Now, as you can see up there, I've had some moderate success with burglary and a few attacks on my house, though none of them were particularly interesting. I have checked through the videos and picked out a couple that had something interesting going on, but for the most part it was just people running in, getting killed by the dogs when they set Pixel off without really realizing what was going to happen. Now, I've been thinking about a place that I can move my vault. The main reason for this decision is because we are getting close to a point where the videos I'm uploading actually display useful information in how to solve my current setup. So I want to go ahead and resolve that problem. I did have yesterday more or less off. Sunday, I didn't do any burglary. You know, I just thought people would like the lion. Honestly, they don't need me knocking around their house, stealing their valuables. So we're going to move the vault. I've got a bit of an idea in mind of how I'm going to set this up. Now, it involves YOLO and the vault switching places. And for everyone who keeps asking, I have mentioned it a few times in the comments, but I guess if I'm not replying to you specifically, you wouldn't necessarily see that comment. But it is not Yankee Oscar Lima Oscar. It is India Oscar Lima Oscar. YOLO. Yes. Now, YOLO, you're coming down with me. You are going to go back where the vault was. A pleasant surprise, or perhaps not so pleasant for anyone who thinks they know the system. However, that does leave this area a little bit open, so we're going to address that right now. What I'm thinking of doing is this. Can I have that there? I think I can. Possibly. Well, my idea is to have Honey open a door to this part of the vault. So what we would want is a powered wall going back possibly just straight up there, I guess. And we'll get rid of this, and Honey can have a new sticky pressure switch. Now, the videos that will go live before this one expressly show that to access the vault, which should be over in this locale, it's going to take me a fair bit of money to set this up. So, you know, it's going to be not going to be having anything particularly dangerous over here, and the vault isn't going to be moved over there for a little while. So, although I've discussed the need to come up from this direction to send Honey in this way, so she'd lock herself in and then she would activate the power that would prevent the powered pits from opening on you. To get to this vault, you have to go this way so that Honey will run in this direction, thus powering... wait. No, we need this to be open. So, we need that door open. We need this to break the power to it. Okay, I see how we can do that. Not a problem. This will normally be passing power through, except when the button is pressed. So this is passing power down currently. It is going through this because that circuit is correct. The moment Honey steps there, it'll break the circuit permanently, and thus the door will open like magic. In fact, I'll place a door over there as well, just to confuse people. Now then, let's think. I was thinking of putting a door up here as well, just adding a couple more uncertainties about the system. I think that is good, though. Let's have a quick look. I think that should work. Now, to test this system, obviously, I am going to have Ianto swapped for a Chihuahua. I am so sorry about this, Ianto. It always has to be you, and I apologize, but, you know, you get to eat all of the foolish robbers who come in here. I mean, YOLO's practically wasting away. So, you can't really complain when you can complain when I turn you into a Chihuahua, but it isn't really fair. That's all I'm going to say. So we're going to try out this system now. Let's hope that this works. Obviously, I'm not going to die. I don't need to worry about this system because the vault is not down there at all. So next, we come up along here and around, up, down. That is locked correctly. Now this is fine, so we walk up here, and Honey should have already locked herself in. There we go. So it should be all safe for us to leave. And there we are. Works perfectly. However, obviously I'm not going to validate the system whilst the safe can just be reached like that. I'll now test it once more, going through the system and going the wrong way. So we come up here, just double check, the door is closed. So we come around this way. Now this is the way that I've said that you need to go in order to chase honey in that direction. Oh. No, that was the incorrect way to go. Right, okay. That's interesting. I think this may not work then. Let me double check that. Right, let me just review this system one more time. Because I'm fairly sure that honey gets sight of you before you want her to. Let's come up around here, activate the powered trapdoor. Now, when we stand there, honey can see us. Ah. Okay, that's interesting. How am I going to resolve that? Because it certainly does need to be resolved. Alright, we need to rebuild the system then. Let's have a quick gander at this. The problem here is that honey sees you too early. We need probably for this to be 3 wide, honestly. Oh, we're going to be tunneling into the haunted room. I'm not sure about this. The spirits, they won't be happy. Dare I risk... Yeah, well, yes, I dare. Okay. I'm afraid, spirits, that in the name of progress, you must be moved. How I'm going to move you, though, I'm not sure yet. Let's think. We could... Oh, this is going to be expensive. It's going to be very expensive. We could instead move this across one. Maybe down there. Okay. And have powered wall coming up there so that this pressure pad can move across by 1. I mean, I'm basically just moving the haunted room. I'm not really getting rid of the haunted room. So, really, spirits, you shouldn't be angry with me. Okay? I'm not really getting rid of your room. I'm just moving it. Just a little bit to the side. That's all. No reason to get your knickers in a twist. Though, this poses a problem now. How... I don't want that vulnerability there. I don't want them just to be able to let themselves out. But though, having said that, from in here, they can just click on that button anyway. So they can saw that wall to get out there and could saw their way... Well, I don't think it actually matters then. Once they've actually locked themselves in, they'll need to use a saw to get back out anyway. Though that would constantly keep it closed. Okay, this is a little bit more complex. Well, I suppose I could just do away with this entirely and have that down by there. Like so. Let's just move that one down by 1. There we are. So this is all running off this power source now. So they can still break it with 1 saw. They could do that before as well. But that should be a little bit more interesting at the very least. In fact, we can put a... No, I'm not going to put a dog in the haunted room. I've already been through this. That would be a horrible, horrible thing to do. However... No, I think that works fairly well. Now then, what we are going to need to do, and this is the expensive bit, is have to move this across. My goodness, all of my money is gone. Oh well, it's for a good cause, I suppose. Right, okay, now, with the doors in place, this should actually work much better. So Honey won't be able to see us until we're there. And at that point, we'll move 1 step to the side, and Honey should dart off in that direction. Or, if we step there and then move 1 step to the side. So we're going to test this system. All my beautiful money. Right. First, pixel, so that I can actually travel up into that area. Now the powered pit. There we go. And we'll just double check that that door is closed. Yes, it is. Okay. So, first, I would like to make sure that Honey runs in that direction correctly. Yeah, there, okay. That works fine. And once more to validate that it works the way I want it to, and that is the vault is accessible. I'm fairly certain that is accessible at this stage, though. Okay, this way then. You may as well just walk with me. Right, now what we want to do is come up here. There we go. Honey's going that way. You don't even need to make the full circuit right now because we've got a chihuahua on our heels, not a pit bull. But that should let me out. Okay, fantastic. We actually have a new position for the vault entirely. So all that remains is to swap Ianto back to a pit bull and to go through the system normally. The haunted room is still haunted. It's just moved across one. And this area doesn't actually serve a purpose yet. But for now, I'm actually going to pop a wall there. Just to dissuade people. It's only $2, so I don't see a reason not to, I suppose. So there we are. This does nothing yet except waste someone's tools, because they have to burrow through. Right, let's put this house back up on the market then, and fingers crossed I don't kill myself whilst doing so. So, step in. Just one over to Pixel, and back. Ianto, I really don't want to die. I just want you to know this. Death is not something I'm looking forward to. There we go. Now, to get the vault to open, we have to go this way. There we are. Honey's gone the correct direction. And that should now mean we're home free. At this point, if you've made a mistake and Honey hasn't opened the vault and you come this way, you will die because you'll be in a dead end. So, yeah, that shouldn't be too bad. Well, now, I had some good and bad news, really. I mean, it's bad in that someone was able to successfully solve my puzzle just by observing through several trials. But they didn't rob me, so I can only assume that it is one of you dapper gentlemen or dapper ladies who have decided to just show me that you could solve it using nothing but your brains and several trips and quite a few £1,000s worth of tools. But, you know, who's counting? What are a few thousand tools amongst friends? But a few £1,000 worth of tools. A few thousand tools would be quite something even amongst friends. But, yes, they managed to get all the way up to the vault after extensive scouting over 2 trips, and then left. I was quite amused, quite pleasantly amused, as it happens. Now, I've also done a little bit of hunting and have come back with some money. Some of it was from people throwing themselves to my traps, but again, nothing particularly interesting. Though I imagine I will quickly go over some of the more interesting ones before I end this video. Now, with this money, we can perhaps start looking at developing the exit point over here. Now, the main thing, as before, is that there should be 3 at least powered pits. Let's see, where do you start? There. Okay, so we want 1 powered pit behind and a few in front. That is our goal. Now, the thing with powered pits, to understand, is that they do not conduct electricity. They don't pass it along. So, we're going to need this set up like this. I guess I could have it so that once you stand there, the pits in front and behind will slot into, it will open should you move in either direction. I think that would actually be a fairly good idea, because if you're stood on the powered pit and there's a wall next to you, again, I'm not sure whether using the tool would allow the dog to move forward or not. And because I'm not sure of that, I would rather have something that costs an awful lot to break through on either side of this person at this point. They would have to do something. They would have to either move forward, move back, or use a tool in some way. But we'll see how that goes. Let's get these down. I don't think that... I think, that you can use ladders on a closed powered pit. I'm not 100% on that, though. So this all comes down to whether you can or not. If you can't, then it would be in my best interest not to have them stood on a safe tile. Because, for example, they could throw a brick, and if the dog did move at that point, it would open all these pits, at which point they could use a ladder. So we'll put down 3, and that will be my deterrent there. Obviously, from now on, to get out and work on the rest of the system, I'm going to need to burrow my way through. But there we are. That is the way in now. So we'll also reinforce this and double thick this wall. with the money that we've got available. The other thing that I wanted to do was start to reinforce this area, but actually I'm going to leave that. I'm going to leave a little bit of money so I can continue to lure people to their doom. And on that note, I suppose I'll leave that there for now. I did, however, want to do my best to try and lock my family in a safe area. So instead of reinforcing the areas up there, it's extremely expensive. Alright, we'll wait a little longer. With this much money available, it should pull a few people in. So this is how it's going to be set up from here on out. And the traps and puzzle element for this part, where the vault is going to be, will be branching off from here. This will eventually be a double thick wall made of concrete, and this area will be entirely encapsulated in concrete. Well, to the best of my ability, obviously. They can just burrow up through there if they want. And so will this area. And gradually, I'll make it increasingly expensive to try and circumvent my tools just by burrowing through walls into the various quadrants of this map. But on that point, I'm going to wrap this recording up in a few minutes. I'm going to check on some of the burglaries that I made a note of, including the one that I was discussing just as we returned. But I'm going to leave the house like this, I think. So we're going to replace the concrete wall there, because it won't cost us anything to do that. And I'm actually pretty happy with this as it stands. So the way that we need to do this, come in, let Pixel, let out Ianto, move up here, around, let Ianto get stuck on that side, come down here, up and around, send Honey off to open the vault, down and out. Let's see if I can remember what I meant to do, or whether I die because of my failing memory. I hope not, but you never know. I'm fairly sure most of my deaths in this game have been due to my failing memory. Right, we should be good. Honey's gone off, and we should be home free at this point. Yes, we are. Okay then, let's go and check our security tapes. Now, the first person I would like to show you, let's find you, Christopher James or Jeffrey Roman. Mostly just that they suicided after a while. They had quite a few tools. They could have let themselves back out. They had a gun, I believe. Now, as far as I'm aware, that gun could have been used to shoot the dog that was in the way. Though maybe they locked themselves... Oh, did they go to the haunted room? Oh, yes, they did. Ah, that haunted room. That is probably the most lethal trap in this entire house so far. Next, we had Kent Jason Kaufman. There we go. Let's check you out. Now, this fellow was extremely cautious, and the reason why I brought you back there is he came out and just calmly neutralized Ianto right at the beginning. So there was no time pressure on him. He had all the time in the world to make his plans. Unfortunately, he didn't come with any sort of burrowing tools, and that is likely the reason that he perished in this one, unfortunately. Oh no, it wasn't! It was Ianto! Wow. After all that caution, you just walked straight into a dog. Well done. You silly, silly boy. Now, the next one is Clifford Timothy Davis, who died without trying, more or less, from what I recall. Let's see, how did you die? You broke your way over there and then neutralized Yolo. And then what did you do? Let's have a look at you. And you made your way around there and... Ah, yes, you had all of these tools and you just walked on to Yolo. I'm not really sure why you did that. I can't even imagine that it was panic, because usually when you panic, it's like you've hit the key to go forward one too many times and you walk into something. But he had a corner there, so he'd have to have intentionally changed direction. Very weird, that one. I'm not really sure why he died, though he left me quite a lot of loot, and that's where some of my money came from. Now, the next one is Jeffrey Lance White. And this one is interesting because of how he dies, or rather, who kills him. Let's get this over with, Mr. White. And he dies there. It's probably the first person, I think, that Heidi killed. And also just that he managed to get himself trapped with Misty and Heidi. It was inevitable, but it was just kind of amusing. This slow train wreck of a life there. Now, Kenneth Marcus Nobles. First time he just popped in, probably recognized the house and left. And then, knowing that, came back with tools to try and break his way through. 405 turns it took him the first time, and he didn't do it. He came with 12 saws, 2 bricks, a cutting torch, 3 meat, and 1 gun. First thing he does, smashes the window, neutralizes Ianto. So he's got all the time in the world now. He looks around, makes sure that nothing has changed. Someone did point out to me that it's quite possible at this stage that the amount of people who are mimicking my houses are basically acting as a cover for me. Kind of in the I am Sparticus kind of way. No one will know whether this is my house or just someone else's house, and thus they can't be sure what they're seeing has any relation to what they've seen in the videos. Because it could have just been branched off at some early stage in its development. But yes, he clearly knew where the vault was, came with just enough saws to get there. But obviously I have moved Yolo down there now. So he's hunting around. Doesn't know where to go. He's got 1 gun. And rather than die, he elects rather wisely to leave. So he's thoroughly explored and found that it's not where he needs it to be, what he expected. So he came in again. This time 8 saws, 2 cutting torches, 3 door stops, 4 bricks, and 4 meat. He obviously dropped the gun when he left, so he lost that to the ether. So again, neutralized the Ianto. This time, dug his way down in order to break the circuit that would be powering this area. Used the doorstop there, correctly neutralized the dog who was waiting for him. He's probably going to just walk over there now, let Pixel turn off those grates. Prevents himself from getting caught, uses the doorstop to explore this area. Obviously that is just a dead end. So he's hunting around, and he knows that I've got so many commitment rooms that he can just use the doorstops to try and hedge his bet, basically. So he smashes open the doors with bricks, and he's just checking everywhere. Now this one, I think, is largely, he worked it out by luck than anything else. You notice the power door there? The only way he could walk at this point, because he cuts the power there, is up around that way, which happens to be the right way. It's not so much that he worked out the system as he was lucky in the way that the system forced him to walk. But still, very interesting. So once he finds the vault, he dances around a little bit. Just a nod to let me know that he solved this. He was smarter than my system. And well played, good sir. You spent an awful lot of money to do that. But I definitely can... I can take my cap off to a man or lady such as yourself. Good day, Kenneth Marcus Nobles. I hope you're still alive. In fact, let's check out. Kenneth, are you still around, Kenneth? Oh, that's my videotapes. Let me check this out. Kenneth Marcus Nobles. There he is. 3 grand. I'm not going to check his house out. I may take some tools here and have a peek around, but I'm content to know that he's still alive. Well done, you. But I'll be wrapping things up there. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I hope you will be joining me in the next. But until then, and as always, do take care.